Hello, friends. Welcome back to our channel with the new season. We are all excited. I'm Vineet, a big Manchester United fan, and I have Maninder with me, who's a Liverpool fan. So, Maninder, all psyched up for the new season?
Oh, of course, can't wait for the new season to start. And of course, we are starting that as a Premier League champion. That has a vibe to it.
Sorry, there was some issue. I couldn't hear the last sentence, but we'll ignore that. We'll
Yeah.
ignore that. Okay.
Get used to it. This will gonna happen soon again.
Okay. So this time with Liverpool being champions, we wanted to discuss about how the Liverpool transfer window has been. So, Maninder, what's your overall thought about Liverpool's transfer window?
Yeah, it's actually uncharted territory for us. As a Liverpool supporter, and from the moment FSG walked into the door, we have very rarely gone full ballistic into any transfer window unless we got some incoming money from another external transfer. So the last time it happened was when Philippe Coutinho was sold to Barcelona, and then we had a good decent war chest that we went ahead and then spent. But this is something which is totally new for all Liverpool supporters, and this actually also shut a lot of supporters on the internet or in the world which were doubting FSG's intentions. But this window is something that, at least when this last season ended, at least I did not envision this window to go in such a way. Of course, there are still some things that we have to sort out, but getting Florian Wirtz in, getting in, and then getting the two fullbacks, Frimpong and Kirkis, this has been a brilliant window so far, and we have just actually upgraded on an already existing champion side. And that's why I said I can't just wait for the season to begin.
Yeah, well, I would echo your thoughts that the window has been pretty good for Liverpool. And I have no idea, and I'm going to ask you where the funds are coming in from, but still, it has been a pretty exciting window for any Liverpool fan. The only thing I would say is, it seems like you have gone up manifold, but I would simply say that the last season, a lot of other teams like Manchester City, like with basically the team to beat in the last few seasons, had not performed to their what they could, but then again still Liverpool did do really well, so credit where it's due. But of course it is very exciting window, and I think we've spent around 250 to 300 million pounds for the players, with Wirtz in number 10 position, false 9. I don't know how Slot is going to play him. Ekitike is a bit of a tongue twister name, and then Kirk is an interesting one. He's pretty solid. He was one of the best left backs last season, and 40 million is not too bad. But I'm pretty curious to see how he makes that leap from Bournemouth to Liverpool, because playing for a relatively medium to big club brings its own pressures. So yeah, and we have seen that a lot in Manchester United. But then again, but you tell me, where is this money coming in from?
Well, honestly, the money is coming from the fact that we have not spent
Yeah.
that much amount from past few seasons. In fact, last season we just bought Chiesa, and there was no one else. Then we did not spend anything in the January window. And even if you go few windows further back, we have not spent that much money. So I think it was just piling up. And FSG was very smart. They did not invest in the squad when they knew that the squad is actually healthy and there are not many tweaks needed. But now, once Klopp left and once the first season with Slot was finished, they realized that now the squad needs an overhaul. Not in large scale, but in some areas. For example, the fullbacks Trent left, and Rob is not getting any younger. And then at the front, we knew that Slot does not trust Nunes. We knew Diaz wanted to move out, so that also. And of course, I think the other aspect of from where the money is coming is also the way how Liverpool sells the player. I think that's something that all other clubs actually are envy of us, because we get very good amount for even the squad players. So I think if you talk about net spend, and then also look at the fact that we have not spent in the past 5 or 6 windows, as in not spent big in the previous few windows, I think that eventually ended up giving us a big war chest. And the good bit is, for us at least supporters, is that it has not ended. The spending has not ended. I think by the time the transfer window closes, we might see at least two more players walking through that door, and very big money signing at that as well. So we can talk again when the transfer window closes, and we will figure out what is the final amount that we spent and what is the overall net spend we had. But I'm still hopeful that a big money signing would be walking through that door before the window
Yeah,
ends.
and how much tapping up are you going to continue doing to Isak? As in, I have no idea. Like, oh my God, what's really happening? And to be honest, I understand where Isak is coming in from, right? He wants to go take that step further, because Newcastle, well, it's a big club on paper, but they haven't been really doing well in the last 10 odd years, as in, or maybe more, right? So, how do you think Isak is going to come in, and with Ekitike also there? How is that works? How is that combination going to work?
We still need one attacker. So Nunes went, Diaz went. and unfortunately we lost Jota in a tragic
Oh yeah.
incident. So we had five attackers in last season, and if we just even if we remove Ekitike for the timing, we were only left with two because Slot does not trust Chiesa that much. So we anyways needed bodies up front. So that's where Ekitike came in, and that's one player which I'm actually very curious to see how he plays in the Premier League. But I have very high hopes from Ekitike. I think he will smash a lot of preconceived notions that people have about him. He will smash all of those. But even with Ekitike coming in, we still have just three attackers. Of course, the other players are also flexible. Florian Wirtz can play number 10. He can play false nine. Can actually go onto the wings as well. So we do have flexible players who can change positions, but that's not their natural position. Their natural position is still behind the front three. So that's where I think one attacker definitely is needed. Isak is something that I as a Newcastle supporter, I'm not sure how they would be feeling because that's something that even we have witnessed, even you might have witnessed in the past, wherein players have their eyes set for a different club, and that's a food chain. I think we all have to understand our place in the food chain. If tomorrow's Real Madrid comes in for a player for our club, we all know that that's a food chain, and we have to understand where we sit in that food chain. I think Newcastle currently is struggling to find their position in that food chain. But if the player is not happy, he has gone on strike from what we are hearing, and I don't think Eddie Howe has actually integrated him back into the squad as well. So to me, it looks like that he might end up at Enfield. We will see how that pans out. I would actually love to have him, and having him and Ekitike both, I do not think would give us any problem. I think they both can play together. They both can play as a rotation as well. But we definitely need one attacker. So I'm looking forward for the window to close and hopefully getting Isak through the door as well.
Yeah, and we can keep laughing at Newcastle, right? So any player they go in for somebody else, just to, the player says, "Hey, I prefer
Yeah,
another club."
it's
So
Yeah, it's been a terrible window
yeah,
for them. I can totally feel for Eddie Howe. I've lost the count of number of players who Newcastle wanted, but then it eventually they went to either Liverpool or Manchester United, or for that matter, even Chelsea. So, yeah, it's just been tough for
I
them.
have no sympathies. They are meme worthy as of today. Anyways, we'll move on from them. They're not that important, to be honest. So yeah, and one of the things which you called out with so many signings coming in, and you have not spent in the last 4 or 5 windows or not spent big. Slot had a little bit of an advantage last season, wherein, and of course he did a great job, but he still had an advantage where he was continuing, his continuing the squad which left for him. So with now he bringing in players, he tweaking things around, new players coming in. The wing backs have changed, right? And Andy Robertson and Trent both have changed because Frimpong and Kirkes would come in. So with all these changes, is it going to be disruptive for Liverpool?
I hope not, and I actually am confident that it will not, because even if you look at Slot's history, he even at Feyenoord he had a mass exodus in his first season. After his first season, he brought in 9 or 10 different players, first team players, and he actually went on to win the league. So I have complete trust on the manager. But if you talk about the players who went out from our team, so Nunes anyways was a squad player. Slot was not trusting him enough. Diaz is someone we might miss as we move along in the season, but we do have Gakpo, and we once we get the other attacker, we might have flexibility there. But fullbacks actually was one area wherein we needed an
Yeah.
upgrade anyways, because Robbo is not getting younger, so we needed Kirkes, and Kirkes is actually young Robbo at the first face value of it. Trent, of course, unfortunately, he went to Real Madrid, so we
Food
needed
chain.
someone there at the
Do you
right
remember
back.
the food chain argument?
Exactly. That's a food chain, and that happens. So once Trent went, we needed a right back there, and we already had Bradley. But I think the reason why we brought Frimpong was because he gives us that flexibility that once Salah goes for Africa Cup, he can actually play as a winger as well, and then we have Bradley behind. But the one player which actually will probably change the whole setup and how Liverpool plays is Florian Wirtz, because with Trent going out, regardless of what people think about his defensive qualities, he actually was a
Yeah.
number 10 playing as a
Yeah.
right back because he had some great passes in him. He could see the passes that no other player could. So we lost a lot of creativity with Trent moving out. So it was imperative that we brought in someone who can actually fill that
Agreed.
gap. And that's where I think Florian Wirtz would be someone who would be just smashing the league again. Another player that I'm very hopeful about. So from if you look at overall, you can say there are a lot of new players coming in and a lot of first teamers going out. But personally, I believe that I think the team structure, makeup, and tactics would more or less remain the same, except I think your creativity moving from the right of your field towards the center. And he would and once Viet settles in, I think we have some entertaining matches that we will watch as we move
Yeah.
along. So overall, all in all, I'm not worried about too many changes. People might, but I think after match week 10 we can come back and see where we
Yeah,
are.
and 2 points, two quick points, right? One, I'm definitely going to miss Nunes. He was my go-to meme creator, to be honest. But yeah, I'm going to miss him. And secondly, on more serious note, I think earlier in the video you gave credit to FSG that they didn't sign too many people last season because they thought the squad was great, and now they have spent big. I would also say Arne Slot seems to be a pretty shrewd operator, because he came in, he was like, "Hey, I'm coming in. I don't think anybody expects me to do like massive things," which, and then he said, "I will bide my time. I will wait for a year and see." And now he's gone big. So I think there is some synergy there. Some credit also goes to Arne Slot, not like Eric Ten Hag, who just kind of brought half the Ajax squad, which was terrible. I was Let's not go there at all. Anyways, so yeah, pretty exciting window for Liverpool fans, and an intriguing one for me as a Manchester United fan, because I'm just hoping that with all these changes, you don't tick quite as well as you did last year. But that's the hope from my side.
Yeah,
Eh,
but then actually, but yeah, but then actually, it applies for Manchester United as well, doesn't it? Because you also are making a lot of changes.
Yes.
So if it does not click for us, then if it does not click for you, you would be relegated. You were already
Now
so.
there's a small difference. You're top of the league, we're bottom of the league. We can only go up, you can only come down. That's about it. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching, and we will wind this video up, and keep liking, subscribing, and put in a comment out there. What do you think about Liverpool's transfer window? And if required, you can also send some bricks and bouquets our way with respect to Manchester United and Liverpool discussion. Happy watching. Bye bye.
Bye.